All right, guys, welcome back to another episode. This episode is, I had a recording I did with Croatian Footy Collector. You'll hear that after kind of the normal podcast here, probably a few minutes here before we jump into that. He's really going to talk about the Northern Soccer Expo and some of the other soccer stuff we've been talking about the last few weeks as well. But I wanted to kind of, before this podcast, you'll probably listen to this Friday morning or Friday after, or maybe even Thursday night. I may upload it this evening, but heard a rumor, haven't really seen it on social media yet, but I wanted to talk about it briefly. There's a rumor going around, and somebody else is going to report it before I do, obviously, since this recording is not going to be live until either Friday or Thursday night. But looks like the Panini group is exploring the sale of the organization. So it looks like Topps is one of the properties or companies in line to possibly buy them. Panini is basically in this process, and it looks like has a lot to do with the death of longtime CEO Aldo Hugo Salustro in Italy, the parent company. And it looks like the investment bank Citibank has been hired, I guess, to field potential offers or opportunities for the sale of Panini worldwide. Now, we know they do soccer cards, a bunch of other sports, but they also have a business in books or comic books or something of that nature. I can't remember exactly what else they do, but their licenses include UEFA, obviously, European soccer with the stickers. Now Topps has the Chrome license, obviously, for Champions League, World Cup, right, for Panini, etc. So this is kind of a big deal, but it doesn't look like it's gonna, based on what I've heard, I don't think it's gonna be one of those things that like happens overnight. I think it's gonna take some time for that to happen. I would expect this is probably gonna drag out for a little while. It might be like a year from now, maybe 6 months, maybe 8 months. I'm not sure. Yeah, so Panini does do graphic like novels in Europe and Latin America. I guess they produce over 5,000 publications, I think, if that's correct, and what I had gotten information on this. So this is kind of an interesting development. Obviously, Panini was worth a lot more money before Topps acquired the licenses. So I guess for Topps and Fanatics, this is kind of an interesting opportunity to acquire some of their properties, whether it's acquiring all of Panini or whether it's acquiring the Prism license or the different card license or card brands that are available. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. Obviously, Panini shot itself in the foot by not kind of agreeing to a deal earlier on, but this is what happens in the business world. Companies are very kind of, let's say, against moving right away on things. So it kind of happens this way that people gotta they wait and see what happens, really. So that's gonna be interesting to see. I don't think anything really impacts the hobby so much. I mean, maybe we get Prism back for World Cup, maybe Tops. Fanatics acquired Panini. I would think they'd want to probably keep that Prism name attached to the World Cup stuff and not create their own sets for that. But who knows with the people over there, what they're doing. They know better than most of us. That's the whole thing, right? So that's very important to consider when you talk about this. So yeah, that's that news. I mean, I'm sure people have more details on Friday or maybe late tonight, Thursday night. They'll have details about that. But that's kind of, I probably should have pushed this podcast a little earlier, but because the other one dropped yesterday on Wednesday, it would have made it a little difficult to give you guys too much content over 2 days. So I could kind of be in the first to kind of break that news, but it's okay though, no big deal. Again, thank you for joining the 90 Soccer Cards podcast. If you're not following me on Instagram, it's at Special One Cards. And this is the only one-on-one soccer cards podcast in the world. Every week we talk about a lot of different things, hobby news. We look at sets, and the last episode and then this episode is more interview driven with Croatian Footy Collector. But I want to talk about quick few things. I want to read. There was something interesting posted by the Upper Deck CEO recently. If you guys know Upper Deck, they produce a lot of the kind of unlicensed stuff that you've seen for, João Neves and Lamine Yamal have actually cards in the Goodwin Champion set. But let me read his post. He posted on LinkedIn, I believe today on Thursday or Wednesday. I can't remember which day, but here it is. And I quote Jason Mashara, who's the president at Upper Deck. Everything is speculative, is up right now. The stock market, Bitcoin, trading cards, and it's pricing some collectors out. Here's what the data shows. 50% of consumers spending in the United States is coming from 10% of the population. Rich people are carrying the market, not just in cards, but across every category. So let me just stop there really quick, just so you understand what he's saying here, is that 50% of all consumer spending in the United States is coming from 10% of the population. He did not say the richest people. He said 10% of the population. I think some other people on social have kind of misinterpreted this, and Jason talks a little bit about this too further on the quote, but I want you to understand that don't get scared by this. It could be a very abstract type of thinking he has here. This is an opinion of his, obviously. I'll give you mine after, but let me continue on here. Concert tickets, $1,000 for nosebleeds. Luxury goods, selling faster than ever. High-end collectibles moving at record prices. When boxes cost $1,000 or more, you're not buying for fun anymore. You're speculating. You're betting that you buy today will be worth significantly more tomorrow. And that works until it doesn't. Sports cards have always had speculation built in. You collect a rookie hoping they become a Hall of Famer, but what's happening now is different in scale. And when markets become this speculative, they become fragile. I'm not saying the sky is falling. I'm saying we need to be honest about what's happening. This isn't sustainable growth driven by collectors who love the hobby. This is wealth concentration driving prices that most people can't participate in. And if that money suddenly moves elsewhere to bet on something else, we will all feel it. So let's take that and talk about that in those pieces. So I'm going to go back to that. 50% of the consumer spending in the United States is coming from 10% of the population. So the assumption that some social media influencers and some others are making is that only the rich are buying, right? That they're the only ones buying. We know that's not true. We are all buying. I'm buying, you're buying. We buy at what we can afford. Most of us, right? Some people might be overextending themselves, and some people are the rich are spending more, obviously. But that statement there, I think, scared a lot of people. I mean, I think Jeff Wilson posted some stuff and other folks, but I take that with a grain of salt. That could mean anything. That could mean somebody got a big bonus at work, and maybe they're on a $60,000 salary, and they got a $50,000 bonus for the year, and they went out and spent more money. That's all that could mean. Okay. Now, behind this kind of statement from him, there is data that supports what he's talking about in terms of the rich people buying everything and people being priced out. I know in my situation, and some of you probably are in the same situation as me, we don't buy high end. We try to take a shot at certain players where we can do well on. For example, William Gomes. I've sold a lot of his stuff already. I've made money. I'm happy. Should I have held on to it? Maybe, maybe not. I know some of you are holding or grading with the potential that he becomes a big superstar. Possibly. However, you have to understand, I hear this a lot too from people. They say, I sold too early. Listen, if you come on the positive, you never sold too early. You sold at the right time for you and for what your goals are. That's what you need to understand. Remember what I just said there. Never question yourself on when you sell something, if you sold it too early or not. If it's a positive outcome, it's a positive outcome. That's a win in my book, and it should always be for people. We can always say what if, or if I had held on to this long. We've all been in that situation. It doesn't take a genius to understand that in this hobby, long-term holding, and not enough people do this, is the best tactic. Not with rookies per se, but with your goats, right? Holding Messi, holding Ronaldo, holding Mbappe stuff, Haaland. Those are the guys that will continue to appreciate in value. Because as I've said before, the Ronaldo stuff, the Messi stuff, as the years go by, the stuff becomes more scarce. And even if you find stuff raw, they're probably not going to gem. Look at my Messi, for example. I got an 8. Happy with it? Yes. Would have been happier with a 10? Yeah. I knew it was borderline 9 or 10. An 8, I didn't expect that. But, so that's kind of the lesson here. You know, you start to look at your collection and start to identify things that you can go in cheap. For example, João Neves, I went in really cheap. I got his stuff cheap. I can never lose on anything I sell from his. Does that mean I need to sell really low? No. I should get market pricing or a little below. It's fine. And if some of you out there are Neves people and want a João Neves card for your collection, let me know, because I can take care of people, but I also need to be, relatively close to what market says. And I take care of people sometimes. People know that. Most of you know that. But again, like I said, if you're winning, if you're having a positive outcome on a sale, take the positive outcome. Don't regret what you're doing. It's important. Now, in Jason's statement, he talks about $1,000 boxes, all of this stuff, and I don't think we're really seeing that in soccer quite yet. We're seeing that. That's my dog. He's got a cone on his head. He's got a little sore on his back here. Going back to that $1,000 box thing, we're not really seeing that quite yet. And I think, sometimes we get caught up in the speculation of breaks. Breaks are dangerous. I like breaks too, but they're dangerous. It's hard to win in breaks. You can get lucky, obviously. And if you have disposable income to do it, do it. It's fun. But if you're better off buying the single, you're better off buying the single. I've learned that through the years. Just buy the single. If you believe in a card, like I've always said, comps are irrelevant. If you believe in a card, comps are irrelevant. Comps at the end of the day do not mean much. Given, for example, I've had that Nev Sapphire. I think I posted it a few times this week, twice maybe. Nobody's bid on it. Nobody. Am I getting the audience that's looking at that card? Probably not. If I put it in the consignment, do I get what I want? Probably do get what I want with the wider reach. Now, you have to take into consideration what he says. Stuff moves, people move their money in different places. And based on his statement and based on kind of the Federal Reserve and some of the data coming out of the government, there is correlation there between the spending and the kind of the rich people in the United States that are they're significantly doing all the spending based on the data. So that means this: if the rich pull their money out of cards, you better believe we'll see a decline. You better believe it. Now, most of us, I would say most of us probably dabble in the $50 to $500 slab range. I would even venture to say it's probably $50 to $300. But that's kind of where I am in that space. I think most of you are too. I think the normal collector flipper is in that space as well. And you have to think about those cards because those cards are liquid. Those cards can continue to turn over quite a bit. But again, like I said, I'm looking at things on a different perspective where, and I've always kind of looked at stuff this way anyways, but there are cards that you want to keep long term. Your gold, your of 10s, your gold autos, your first autos of players. I've talked about that for many years on the podcast. First autos of players, not rookie cards, but first autos. For example, Joao Nev's first auto is in Select 24, 24, 23, 24, whatever. You get it. It's in that set, so I'll keep those autos. Those are valuable to me. They might not be yet. They will be at some point. Because a lot of the products now, they're inundated with autos of players. And that's why you can see autos of certain players going for cheap. So you have to significantly make the right decision on what you're holding and what you're selling. That's really it. I don't want to make too much of that statement from the Upper Deck president. He knows better, obviously. He's a president of a large company that does very well in the space, and they're knowledgeable. And he's very knowledgeable of the market given the time that he's been there and being in the industry. So, hockey's kind of crazy too right now a little bit with Macklin Celebrini starting the year off really well. Connor Bedard, people still buy him. So, I guess my cautionary tale here is this, is if you're collecting a certain player, then do it, which leads into my next topic, Lamine Yamal, okay? Told you guys months ago that we could see a kind of a drop in his prices. They've dropped a little bit, not a lot. They've actually haven't really dropped that much. Maybe 1% or 2% since the El Clasico. Not a big drop, but you have to wonder. Here's what I wonder. And if you're a Lamine Yamal collector, cool. I don't have any of his stuff. I just don't. Very talented player, one of the best in the world. Mbappe is the best player in the world to me. That's my opinion. And shout out to Harry Kane and Erling Haaland, who are having spectacular years thus far, too. I think those three right now are kind of the guys that are running away with the Ballon d'Or chase, given the goal tallies that they've had. But Lamine Yamal is an interesting case. He's 18 years old, and we've been critical of him and his behavior thus far. I know I've heard rumors Adidas and Barcelona are not happy with the off-the-field behavior, and this is something for his agent, George Mendes, who was Ronaldo's agent previously. Learning experience. He's 18 years old. He's a kid. And at the same time, we can make that excuse for him, but at the same time, we can also say, listen, Mbappe, Ronaldo, Messi, Haaland, look at their behaviors at their age compared to yours. He's got the roadmap to be successful. He's got all the talent in the world, but he's got to behave off the field. That's a big piece of it. Now, his card values are not getting impacted whatsoever by the El Clasico, and it potentially could have an injury, a groin injury. How that could translate to his card prices will be interesting to see, because he may need surgery, and that's an issue, because if he does need groin surgery, he might be up for an extended amount of time. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I would venture to say that's probably a 2-month injury. I'm not sure. But, hopefully he does come back healthy and that happens. Again, I'm just speculating here, but if he does need the surgery, you're looking at a little time down. That means a few things. We could see the bottom of his market coming up here. I think in terms of like his value currently, right? You could see an opportunity to go in and buy and take a chance. Or you could potentially lose even more if he becomes a player of the wayside like some of the other guys have, like Ansu Fati, Avi, Bojan Kiric, guys like that. So I would tread very carefully right now Lamine Yamal cards. If you're a collector, again, no big deal. You don't care. And if you have the disposable income to spend on his big cards, cool. And if you pulled a card out of a break and you paid barely anything for it, then that's awesome. Then you have nothing to lose. That's the gamble that's worth taking. But if you're in big, I would probably, and I'm not a financial advisor, but I would probably consider selling. And I talked about this a while ago, but that is what it is. I think at this point with Lamine Yamal, hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully he learns from his last three outbursts. I call them outbursts, not really outbursts, but on social media with the kind of cocky behavior that he had before the Inter game, the behavior before Portugal game and during that game, the behavior now before El Clasico. That's 3 times he hasn't shown up for big games. So, and that doesn't mean he's a terrible player. It just means that he's growing. He's still young. Learning is growing. So hopefully he takes these as a learning opportunity and he grows. And for those that have the Lamine Yamal cards, hopefully you grow too as well. I don't want to shoot that down because I don't think it's a negative thing. Poor guy. I don't think it's a negative thing that he's going through this. He's just a kid. At the end of the day, he's just a kid. All right, guys. One other thing I want to talk about before I put on Croatian's interview here. I had a big sale this past weekend for $132,000. It was a Ronaldo card, R9, the Brazilian, the 1 of 1 out of Dynasty 22-23 with the beautiful patch on there, the Real Madrid crown on there, auto. Really nice card. Highest Ronaldo card ever sold, ever. Okay. Goes to show you his market, I think, will heat up. This card is a cool card. Do I love this card? No. It's not even game worn. I believe that's not even game worn, that the patch. Which is kind of, I guess for me, it becomes one of those things that's kind of like, well, that's interesting because as a hobby, when we were in that survey, it seemed like game worn was the only way. But this tells me otherwise. This is probably somebody with a lot of money that doesn't care, that really wanted that Ronaldo card. Yeah, impressive sale for him. I think this only helps his rookie cards and his other stuff as well. I know, shout out to Oak City Collector, who's got a lot of his older stuff, which is awesome. I think this sale obviously helps his other stuff. It will, if it hasn't yet. And I haven't looked at lately if anything is sold for more, such as his rookies that I was chasing. I haven't bought one yet. I haven't found one that I wanted yet. But with all of this stuff, you'll see that generally when a big sale like this happens, you'll see curiosity from other people for that particular player's market. So that's something I would kind of start to think about. It's important. And I'm trying to read here. That's why I'm tilting my head. I'm trying to read the back of the card to see here on the let's see here. It doesn't even say it on here, does it? You received a Dynasty autograph patch card from 22-23 Topps Dynasty UEFA Champions League. Signing of the Topps card. Yeah. The relics contained in the card are not from any particular game or match. Again, would I have paid $132,000 for this? No. I think I could find a better autograph that I like of this player in a different card. I mean, no, I'm not trying to belittle somebody who spent that kind of money on this card. It's a really cool card. I mean, it's a 10-10, dual 10-10. So really nice card, but not for me, not game worn. So I'm out on that card. But that's it, guys. All right, we're gonna. What do you guys think about this sweatshirt, this hoodie? Pretty cool, right? I still haven't posted them yet. And by the way, Card Ladder still hasn't gotten back to me. I gave him all my tax information for that stuff too. Hoodie's cool. I think this weekend I might actually get this up on the website at some point. The website may relaunch this weekend. I haven't decided yet. I have a few more things to kind of fix on it. Hopefully, shoot me a message on Instagram if you want to get one of these hoodies, because I can actually go right through the manufacturer and create a store there where you could buy one if you wanted one. And I'm not going to charge like a crazy amount of money for this stuff. Really, for me, it's kind of a branding opportunity, an opportunity for you guys to support me in some fashion as I start to get the studio ready. I'm almost there. Hopefully within the next 3 weeks, we'll have like a full-fledged studio in the house ready to go where we can do some really good video, have better images versus having me on in my living room over here with this picture up here is from our wedding. Women, they put up crazy stuff. But looking forward to hearing from you guys, obviously, on Instagram. Send me a DM there if you're interested in talking about anything, any other new topics. I think one of the things for next week, I'm going to do a breakdown of 2016 Prism from the Euros. I think that's a set that's being overlooked quite a bit in the hobby. I'm going to do a breakdown on that coming up, and I'm going to go back and look at some rookies for next week too as well. For Tuesday's episode, we'll have 2 rookies that I've identified to look at potentially to buy on the low, obviously, because that's what I do here. We go low for big gains, right? Low risk, high ceilings is how we do things. So I hope you guys enjoyed this interview with Croatian Footy Collector. The other thing I want to announce, as I said, the All Soccer Cards Show and Collectibles of New Jersey is happening again. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to be there yet. The All Soccer Card Show and Collectibles Show of New Jersey is happening December 20th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Parsippany, New Jersey. That's at 33 Baldwin Road, Parsippany, PAL Hall. It's all soccer again, free admission, no admission charge whatsoever. Tables are $65 for one 8-foot table. Two tables is $120. Hooked on Soccer Cards is really Hooked on Soccer _ cards is really the driving force behind this. And Anthony from Sack Cards. Those guys are incredible guys in the hobby. Give them a follow on Instagram if you can. But they will be, and hopefully I have Anthony on soon. I haven't never had him on the podcast. I should have him on the podcast soon. But we're anticipating about 70 plus all soccer tables at this event. And I know one of the things for us was kind of the struggle of that's a tough time of year to travel with the holidays. But it's also the momentum we got from that show in September. We don't want to lose it with the momentum we have there and then not have a show until the spring. So we kind of want to do something. And our expectations are pretty high still. I shouldn't say that. I would say my expectations for I might not be there, so that automatically makes the show not as good. I'm only kidding. It'll be a good show regardless if you can make it. It's during the holidays, so maybe sometimes people. One of the things I thought about is like sometimes you need a break from the family, and that might be kind of the nice 2-day thing to do. It's a 1-day show, so you could fly on like the Friday night, sell Saturday, head out of there Saturday, kind of spend 2 days away from the family. All right, so Croatian Footy Collector. Here's the interview. Northern Soccer Card Expo happening next weekend, Saturday, November 8th, 6 to 11 p.m. at Kings Court, 1775 Seismith Road in Mississauga, Ontario. I'm still not sure if I'm going. It's looking more and more like I'm not going to be going. There's a few factors here in play. I have a dog that's wearing a cone right now because he got kind of like a little roughhouse with another dog at the dog park last week, and I didn't notice the little kind of bump he had on him, and then he was biting at it, so he's been trying to take care of him. So that's kind of the hard part. So, all right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Thank you again for supporting me. I really do appreciate you guys always. Thank you so much. All right. Have a good weekend. And then Friday, you have Halloween, right? Be careful. And if you're going out with your kids, enjoy that time. All right. I know I'm going out with my kid. I'm going to have a good time. Enjoy the interview here with Croatian Footy Collector. All right, guys, we're back. Another podcast. Very, very special guest all the way from north of the border here of the United States. Croatian Footy Collector finally joins the show. Now, we did a recording last year, but that got lost or got corrupted on my end. It's probably going to be one of those like recordings down the line. It would call the Lost Files, right? If I ever find it, it'll be fun that way. Yeah. So give everybody an introduction, man, about yourself, where to find you, etc.
Hey, man. Hey, how's everyone doing? I'm Stefan. I'm from Croatian Footy Collector on Instagram. I'm also one of the guys who run the Northern Soccer Card Expo up here in Canada as well, which is a strictly soccer card show with my team, with Top Loader Breaks, Hot Pepper Cards, 1897, Card Hoarders. We all do it together. But yeah, I mainly collect Croatian. Modric is my main PC. And I mainly collect, but I also collect Croatian players as well. But Modric is my main PC. And of course, if you see me on IG, you guys know I do a lot about comedy, about the hobby and stuff like that. I like to post memes, stuff like that. So just some funny stuff to have a good time.
Yeah, I actually your posts give me some relief every day when I go on Instagram. They make me laugh. And I think, again, it's like it's kind of cool because like everyone's kind of got their own kind of like path or what they do on Instagram. You're the comedy guy. I'm kind of I don't know what I am. I guess I'm kind of just like look at numbers, stuff like that. I guess I'm not that entertaining, but we try to be, right? Try to be different. That's what makes this hobby unique and everything. So you guys have the Northern Soccer Card Expo coming up on November 8th?
November 8th from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. It's a Saturday.
Up in Mississauga, right? And that's running concurrently with Yeah, it's running concurrently with um
Sports
the
Card
Sports
Expo.
Expo, right? Yeah, the Sports Expo, which I think last time I can't remember how far your location was from
It's about 10
the
minutes.
King's Court. How Oh, okay, yeah, and this was not too
Yeah.
far. I remember
Yeah.
I
It's not too
drove
bad.
that the last time. It was close. Um,
Yeah.
anything so that shows 6 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Um, you guys have sold out officially, right? So you have what, 30, 35 different vendors?
Actually, we have 40 plus vendors and 50 plus tables. So it's actually the number's gone up.
Ooh, very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
actually
it's all
might.
strictly soccer. Sorry, it's all strictly soccer, collectible, and memorabilia stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's good to hear. I know for me, I still haven't decided if I'm going yet. It's kind of like I'm trying to figure out with the dog and the family if I can make it. But for me,
Yeah.
ideally, and we'll take this offline. But I might need to get a table, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
I'm sure you guys can accommodate me somehow. But so I was just at the All Soccer Card Show in Collectibles in New Jersey,
Right.
which was a lot of energy there. It was fantastic. I can't remember how many tables we had there. So it's probably similar to you guys. I can't remember. Paulo kind of has those numbers.
Right.
But is anything else going on at the event that we should be aware of in terms of giveaways, in
Yeah.
terms of celebrity appearance? Is like Austin Matthews going to come through the door? Anything like that?
No, unfortunately, so there are going to be prizes. We're looking at doing prizes giveaways every hour, if not around there right now. Unless if we get more prizes, it might be even sooner, maybe every half hour, depends on how it goes. We also have two sponsors, Slap Sharks. I don't know if you ever heard of them down there in the States,
Yep.
but
Yep.
they are an eBay company where what do they do exactly? Sorry,
They can sign.
yeah, you can sign your cards through them, and they're bidding. They're an auction house, pretty much, here in Canada. So they're one of our sponsors, and one of my friends who's a real estate agent, Rocky Caron. Shout out to him as well. He sponsored our last show as well, so he's sponsoring this show. We're gonna have our inflatable target. I don't know if you remember that from last year, the last show, the inflatable target that we have, so kids can come or even adults can come and shoot the ball. We're probably gonna do a prize for that, who has the most points and targets or something. We haven't decided yet, but no special appearances this time. It's kind of hard to get players to come, like, from different part, like from MLS or even CPL, which we have, Canada
Yeah.
Professional Soccer League. It's hard to get players because it's right now, it's during like the season, right? So it's or playoffs or whatever it is for them. I think it's for CPL, it's playoffs right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
well, we've
Yeah.
tried. We're going to keep trying. We're always going to keep trying to get players to come. One day, hopefully, we'll have some type of legend show up. But the whole point of that is that's why we're growing. We're growing. We're a growing show. Like I said, we have more tables than the last show, and this is our third show that we're doing so far. And we're all the way up here in the northern cold, and soccer's still kicking it and still alive. It's growing every day up here.
That's good to hear. So this is your third one. I did not go to the first one, but I did hear really good things about the first one. I was at the second one, which I really enjoyed that. It was
Yeah,
fun to be there. And again, I think with the soccer community, one of the really kind of important factors that we have is the camaraderie, the people, the togetherness that the community really feels, right?
yeah,
For me, for example, somebody came from the States going all the way up there in April, I think, if that's correct. Yeah.
yeah,
And being embraced by so many people was just it felt awesome, you know what I mean? Because like,
yeah,
like I haven't met like a lot of people in person at that point. I did, so it's just nice to have that camaraderie. Because in the other sports, I mean, hockey I think's got a really good niche of collectors too. But like the other sports, the baseball, the basketball, the football, there's a lot of hate in those sports. People hate each other. It's
yeah.
kind of funny, but it's kind of like this. It's like a soap opera, right? It's like wrestling for the hobby. You know what I mean?
It is
So
definitely the soccer community, soccer card community is definitely a good bunch of people, and they're different compared to like you said, to the other card collectors, from Pokemon to from baseball to basketball to hockey. But the soccer card community has always been welcoming, always a fun group of people that I've always met. When I went to the Nationals a couple years ago. Everyone was very welcoming that I met through Instagram or in Facebook breaks or whatever it was over the years. So I was able to put people's names to faces and stuff. So it was great.
Mm.
But and everyone was, like I said, very welcoming. So and my kids, I remember when we went to the national. I can't remember who hosted the trade night that night, but there was a trade night at one of the hotels, and my friend Ajax Collector from the States there, I forgot his Instagram handle, something Ajax. Anyways, he brought a box of Bundesliga Chrome, and my kids were sitting there. They're not really into cards yet. They're younger as well, and he opened a box with them. Like he just said, "Hey, you didn't even know my kids. I didn't even meet them." He just started opening boxes with kids. So it goes to show how friendly people are in the soccer card community.
Yeah, I mean, you said it all right there. People are friendly in the soccer card community. You said the show is bigger than last time. Uh, how much bigger is it? So we get an idea.
So it's at the same hall, which it was
Yep.
last time. So we have over 15,000 square feet, not 1,500. So the hall, it's around just over 15,000 square feet, the venue, which is 4 basketball courts. And so we have about, I would say, about another 10 to 12 vendors total, with another about 15 tables, I would say, with that extra. So it's going to be a lot bigger. So, and plus
Are
now with the season on, like with the soccer season going on from all leagues, this is a good show. Going to be a good show because everyone's wants to be buying or trading or whatever that is, because the season's going on and everyone's going to watch their players, right?
Yeah, I remember April. We're kind of at the kind of tail end of the season. I mean,
Yeah,
at that show. So it might, yeah, you're probably right. This might be a bit different, more, and
yeah.
soccer's kind of at a different point right now than it was even those 6 months ago, right?
Well, not in general, like because like we run like adjacent with the Sports Card Expo, the Toronto Sports Card Expo here.
Yeah.
So they end at 6 o'clock in the evening on the Saturday, and that's why we started ours at 6. And for every sport, it's pretty much, except for baseball right now. You got football's on, you got hockey on, all the sports are on around. So usually the November show in general is a lot more busier for the Toronto Sports Card Expo as a whole.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I just think, I mean, in terms of soccer, from what I saw at the show in New Jersey, right? The vibes in there, because that was all soccer too,
you're
was
right.
really was really like people were excited. A lot of people were trading too, which was great. I mean, people were buying stuff too with cash, but that vibe was different. Because I think we're at a point right now where soccer is really blown up, and it continues to blow up. I mean, I think I've looked at numbers now recently, and it's kind of leveled off a little bit, which is fine. It's good. It hasn't declined though. That's the big thing. It
Yeah.
continues to go up. So that's good to see that you guys have an increased vendors that will be at the show. Now, what is there admission to get in?
Yeah, it's going to be $5 to get in, and kids under 12 are free.
Okay, cool. So $5 Canadian,
Five Canadian
which I think
dollars, yeah,
which I think works out to about 50 cents US. I think as
give
a
or take. Yeah,
conversion.
maybe 75,
I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding.
maybe
No,
75.
that's yeah, yeah. That's good. So have you guys been talking to the expo up there in terms of you guys said you guys set up for 6 p.m. that evening, right? So you want to run it not at the same time as the expo. Did you guys coordinate that with them, or was it something that you guys just did out of the
We
goodness of
just,
your own heart?
we just did it because, like I said, myself and my team that we have, we saw what the Soco did, or the Soco, whatever you guys call it down there, down by the Nationals, and we were like, "This is a." It was such an awesome idea what they did, and we wanted to run something like that up here, but we didn't go. No, we haven't. I know the guy who runs these Sports Card Expo. We are actually in the, like, somewhat in the, not in the works, but we've done something with them recently. We went to the Montreal All State Soccer Show, and it was, we were under set up under the Northern Soccer Card Expo, and it was great. It was strictly soccer, no cards. We were the only cards there. Otherwise, it was like, you got to shoot the ball into these blow up things. Some players from uh, Montreal, the MLS team, they were there signing players, signing cards or whatever, jerseys and stuff. So we've started working with them slowly, but when we first started, nothing. We didn't. We just started doing it,
Okay.
but we didn't want to do it. Sorry.
So what was that show in Montreal? Was that like a soccer event, not a soccer card show?
It wasn't a soccer card show; it was just a soccer event.
Okay.
Um, and Allstate Insurance is the one that was hosting it, and they had some CPL players there, also like Montreal. I forgot the Montreal MLS team name. They had some players there signing. They called us. The same guy who runs the expo was the same guy who runs that show, and he called us to come set up at the show there so they can have soccer cards and see. And you know what? It was good. We made a little bit of sales, which was expected. We weren't expecting to kill it or anything like that. But it was good because people got to see that there were soccer cards. So we gave out free packs to kids, to parents, whatever. But it was a good show all around. It was a good show. It was only a 1 day event, but it was good.
Well, that's good to promote your show, right? That's
Yeah.
happening in Toronto.
Do one in Toronto as well. They do one in Toronto as well. We will be set up at that one. I just can't remember the date. It's just before the World Cup, or during the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. So I
Oh,
gotta,
okay, okay.
yeah,
Cool. So again, November 3 and 6 to 11 p.m. Mississauga Kings Court. It's funny because the first time I went to that place, Kings Court. You ever hear of the game called Kings Court?
oh yeah.
It's
Back
like
in
a
the day,
basketball game.
yeah,
It's a
basketball game.
basketball game back in the day. It's like a one-on-one type of thing. So I was like, oh man, this is cool. Because there's 4 basketball courts there too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that makes it fun. Is there gonna be any food or any drinks at the event, or is that still a hard no?
As of right now, we will have pop and water for sale, but
Okay,
unfortunately there's no food. They don't really want food at the venue, so
okay.
one day, maybe not this show, but we're looking at getting a food truck maybe to sit outside. But unfortunately, that wasn't in the funds this time. If that makes
Okay,
sense.
yeah, no worries, no worries with that. All right, man. I appreciate you kind of giving us the rundown on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk a little bit of your collecting,
Okay.
and I know you have a hard stop at one, so let's try to nail this down. You're Croatian. You love
Yeah.
Croatia, obviously. Luca's your guy, right?
Luka
Is that
Modric.
your only is that your only guy? Is that your only guy?
No. I collect other players. I collect mostly Croatian players, but Modric is my main PC. That's who I mostly have like my higher end cards and stuff like that. You would say.
Are there any other non-Croatian players that you collect?
Has there been?
Yeah. Or is there?
Is there? I was collecting a little bit, nothing crazy, but Camarda from AC Milan.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I re- I really liked him, but yeah, no, pretty much Croatian, man. And I've had some, like, don't get me wrong, I've had Ronaldo's and all those Messi's cards and stuff like that, but they weren't like my main PC, right? So
What about the kid that's playing in Croatia, the Portuguese kid that's playing in Croatia right now?
which one for Carlos Varela?
Yeah, Varela, yeah.
Yeah. What about him? He's good.
Does he have any stickers yet?
No, not yet. Not that I know of, because they do make Panini back in 23-24 came back with the H&L soccer stickers, which is the Croatian Soccer League. Uh,
Yeah.
they they stopped making them for about 10 years, maybe 15 years. I could be wrong, but it was around there. And they brought it back for the first time 20 in 23-24. So they have some rookies in there that, like, I don't know if you know Marco Pasalic, he plays for
Yep.
Orlando FC. Like, that would be considered his rookie sticker.
Mm,
Uh, then you have other play. That's just one example that people probably in the States would know. Petar Sucic that plays for Inter Milan, his rookie stickers in here. So and now they just came out with last year. So I wasn't able, because I usually buy them in bulk if people want them here, right? If people want them here, I'll buy like 12,
yeah.
13, 14, whatever. Because I have a guy in Croatia I get them from. But unfortunately, nobody wanted this season because it's kind of hard to, if you want to complete the booklet, it's kind of hard to get cards here, or sorry, stickers here.
Yeah.
Because with Canada, right? You would have to go to Croatia, but then shipping's expensive and all that nonsense. But yeah, like I said, I mostly collect Croatian players. But yeah, the H&L book, it's helped out with some stickers. I haven't completed it yet. I messaged my friend to hopefully have his, which he usually has doubles and triples or whatever. So hopefully he will have the numbers for me to finish my book. I don't have that much left, but
Is
so
that from
hopefully.
the first reissue again of that
Yeah,
set, or is this
it's
okay?
23, 24. So this is
Oh,
last year.
cool, cool. Yep,
So this is the
or
first time
2 years.
coming back.
Oh,
And
that's
and then
awesome, man.
like I
Good.
said, like the book's amazing. Like it's really nice inside what they did. It's nothing crazy, but it's simple. It's nice. It's I don't know. Like I'm not a big sticker guy, but I don't mind doing this. You know what I mean? Like sticker books. It's
Yeah,
kind of
it's a
fun.
fun activity for sure, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely different than collecting and all that. But
What do you think about what's going on with soccer right now? How do you feel about what's like what's your temperature gauge on the stuff that's going on right now?
what do you mean, like soccer cards or the
Like
soccer world?
yeah, just soccer cards in general. We're seeing the Messi and the Ronaldo stuff kind of still. It's not booming like it was because I think the increase in price was so fast and it's leveled off. It hasn't increased anymore, but I still think there's more room for that stuff.
I haven't been keeping close to numbers. I know I was saying this last year, and I remember telling one of my friends, I'm like, yo, if you have $100,000, Canadian or US, doesn't matter. I would be investing them in Ronaldo's and Messi's. This is
Yeah,
last year,
yeah.
and because at that time they were still expensive. They're still expensive cards at that time. Don't get me wrong, but even if you get like a PSA 2 or lower end ones, you know what I mean. You're still going to make your profits. And we all saw that boom happen. It started about, correct me if I'm wrong, about 4 months ago, where
Yeah,
maybe five,
probably.
around
Yep.
there, where we saw the Messi's just skyrocket. I don't even know how much of a percentage they went up. Same with the Ronaldos as well. And people are I think realizing this is for sure their last World Cups. This is Ronaldo's last World Cup. This is Messi's last World Cup. This is Luka Modric's last World Cup. Like there's, I'm throwing that out there, but there's some big names that it's going to be their last World Cup, and I think not just the soccer card community knows that, but people are starting to realize that because more and more people are slowly coming in. Not slowly, I think they're coming in more than before. Because I came back into the soccer card hobby around 2018, 2017 when I came back. It was just before the World Cup of 2018 because I was
Yeah.
like I felt like Croatia had a good team, and I started joining breaks, buying Croatia for $20 a break where it was so cheap back then, and getting a lot of the big hits that I've gotten over the years. I have sold some because I needed the money, but I've kept most of them. But the hobby itself, like it's gonna keep going up. It's gonna keep going up until about the World Cup, and then people are gonna see how the World Cup is. You know what I mean? With everything going on, no offense, but with your president there, there's a lot of people talking bad about the World Cup right now outside of North America. If you listen to European podcasts or these guys in England, they're always bashing. They're kind of, I wouldn't say they're bashing it, but they're not expecting it to be good. Do you know what I mean?
You know what the problem is though? I'm gonna tell you right
What?
now. The guys in England that are criticizing the World Cup in America, they should worry about their country instead.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to make this political, but they should worry
No.
about their country seriously. Going back to what you were saying about like Messi, Ronaldo, Modric, their last World Cup.
Yeah.
So that's significant, right, to a lot of us, obviously.
Yeah.
But do you really think that's why those cards are increasing like that? I don't think so.
No. I think that's part of it. I'm not saying, I think that's a small part of it because
Yeah.
I think there's more and more people coming into the hobby. As you know, like I used to own a card shop, right? And it
Yep.
closed down. We closed it down just over a year ago. And I was in a hockey town, okay? And I had mostly kids, I don't know, teenagers to younger coming into my store only wanting soccer. Nobody was asking for
Mm.
hockey. So, and of course that might have had a little bit to do with the type of advertising I did. But at the same time, I feel soccer as a whole has been growing. It's growing from what I knew statistically as of last year. I could be wrong, but it was around 40% growth. Soccer as a whole, people joining the leagues more, our kids joining the leagues and all that because it is more affordable. And the names are getting out there too. Like everyone wants to be Ronaldo. My son, he's 10 years old. He loves Ronaldo, and
Yeah.
no matter how much Luka Modric brainwashing I try to do to him, he's going around the house and suing all day. Okay, so so it's also media as a whole. All the social medias and everything are really helping out there. Stuff like what you do, your podcast. I have some friends that I don't know if you know heard of footy culture guys, stuff like they do. You know what I mean? Their type of podcast.
Yeah.
That's also helping soccer growing, and people in the collectors world are realizing. I know a lot of Americans don't like soccer, and same with Canadians because they think it's a, I don't know if you want to cut this out, but pussy sport, right? It's not meant for men.
Yeah.
It's a weak man sport. But now they're realizing that, there is a lot of athleticism needed in soccer. There's a lot of, you know, you have to be smart on the field with the decision making. It's like a human chess game all day, right? And people are starting to realize that, and it's a good game. It's affordable, so I think that's a huge reason, in my opinion. I think that's why it's going up.
Yeah, I think, I agree with you. It's affordable, but I think that's kind of a problem too. For the sport to grow effectively, like it hasn't, I mean, for the sport to grow effectively across Canada and the United States, both countries I think need to change the way they do things. They need to look at
Right.
Europe and understand how Europe does it, where kids are not paying to join a damn travel team or
Yeah.
join an AAU team, or you know what I mean? That's what's missing here right now. Because usually the argument in the United States is like, no, like you said, no one plays soccer because it's a wimpy sport or whatever the case may be. No. And then sometimes people say, well, it's because we have so many choices. No,
Yeah.
actually, if they set it up like the European market has set up, where these academies, like, the teams you like, Dinamo Zagreb, right? They have an
Yeah.
academy. They go and sign these kids young. They put them in school, then they go to practice every day. That's how it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. I
And if I
know.
think, go ahead.
No, I know. My very close family friend of mine, his kids, two kids. He's actually half Croatian. He's Greek, and his wife's Croatian, and they moved to Croatia, and their two boys play in the Dinamo Zagreb Youth Academy. Like you said, it's half day school, and the other half is soccer. That's how they play it up there.
Yeah, I mean, if
But
that's
that's
what's the
based on the
problem
club,
here.
I think. I think that's the club's fault. Like all the clubs and the organizations that we have here, I think that's their fault. Like, you know what I mean? They don't have that structured that way. Like the MLS doesn't have it structured that way. They
Oh
should, like you
yeah,
said,
no, they don't. Yeah, I mean, all it takes is somebody to come along and say, you know what, I'm going to open up a soccer school. I'm going to open up a team affiliated to that soccer school. I'm going to sign these kids, and I'm going to start doing this. And I know there's a lot of rules here and regulations in the U.S. in terms of age at the moment,
right.
but that's something that can be beat because the United States and Canada, they have a lot of people. They could easily win a World Cup if they tried to get their best athletes playing those sports. Don't care what
Yeah.
anybody says, they could do it. But there isn't that focus there. They don't care. It's a money, just like in Canada. I'm sure it's the same thing. You bring your kids to the game, you got to pay to play in the league.
Oh
You
yeah,
can't,
yeah.
you can't just show up and play for nothing. You know what I mean?
So I actually coach from under 13 to from under 10 to under 13. Boys house league at Hamilton, Croatia here, and we did an outdoor session for the house league after the summer session, like a fall session, I guess you would call it. It was
Yeah,
about 8 weeks, and now we're going to go into indoor because it's getting too cold outside. And plus we play on turf, so we can play a little bit longer outside. And we're actually that 8 or 9 weeks that we did outdoor, we didn't charge them anything because we want people to come to our club. Okay, indoor we're gonna have to charge because that's facilities. We got to pay for these
yeah,
facilities, right? And unfortunately, that we have to charge, right? But because we did it on our own facility before, we didn't have to charge. Like we own that ground. It's Hamilton, Croatia's land, right? So they can charge whatever they want. Of course, there is for the summer there was, but we didn't charge anything. Which I agree. In Croatia, it's the same way. Probably in Portugal, where these lower kids leagues are free. There's no money being charged. I know Germany is free as well.
yeah,
These young kids don't have to pay. Don't worry about it. And
yeah.
that's what but that's up to the club. So that would be like up to Toronto, Toronto FC up here, if they wanted to do it. They have academies now. I don't know if they do school and academy. I don't know if they do that, but that's just they should be doing something like that if they want to grow,
Yeah.
become
Yeah,
better.
the sport could grow considerably more if that was the case.
Oh,
I also
absolutely.
think with the card hobby right now, right? I mean, people do realize this is the last World Cup, right? Like you said, there are more people coming in. There are people from other sports coming in and realizing, like for me, it's like when I look at the numbers, like I posted last week, the Jordan second year against a Messi first year World Cup card. The pop counts are ridiculous. The
Yeah,
Jordan PSA 10 is a $20,000 card. Yet
yeah, yeah,
the Messi is still an $8,000 card. Something's
yeah.
not right there, right? That's what I think's happening, and I think you're right too. I don't think. I mean, some people think there's gonna be a big bust here, right? And I saw really a on LinkedIn yesterday. I saw the upper deck president had a kind of a quote about the ceiling falling, possibly because all the big money
Yeah, I
in the
saw that.
U.S. is playing the high end. I don't know if you read that quote, but and it makes sense. The economics behind that makes sense, but when you have the world's biggest sport, it makes it a little bit different, right? Where you have people coming into this now, um, and he's only looking at the U.S. market, I think, when he's talking about that. So I still think, I try to if I had 8 grand to go buy one of those Messi World Cup cards at 2006 PSA 10, I'd probably go buy that because I think that card is probably an $18,000 to $20,000 card in 8 months from now. Um,
Yeah,
and people will probably say I'm crazy, but I also said that last year about that card. And then Peeves My Card, we did a podcast in July, and we said there's plenty of room on this card, and that card was $2,000 at that point. You know what I mean? So it's
oh
like,
yeah.
something has got to. There's a lot of like, there's
The
not
one thing,
things are not adding up correctly, right? Like even if you look at
yeah,
the Luka market, right? Luka Modric, one of the best midfielders ever, you know, doesn't score a lot of goals, but does he really need to? No, his
no.
pricing should be higher too.
Yeah, he's actually his cards have gone up since like the whole Messi boom and stuff. Soccer has gone up in general since then, especially his from his retirement from Madrid. It's not retirement, but him leaving Madrid. It's
Moving
gone
on.
up for Luka Modric, anyways. But the one thing is, I've said this about when it comes to the hobby in general for all sports cards. The main leader is the United States. Okay, you guys are the ones who spend the money for whatever sport it is. The money is coming mainly from guys from the States. So now that the World Cup is being hosted in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, the more money will be coming in because now these collectors who are buying basketball, football, whatever, they'll be like, oh, let me try, even if it's for that 1 month that they try to invest something in, they're going to be buying because they're like, oh, this World Cup's going to be hot. It's in the United States. It's going to be it's going to be watched a lot now from people who never even heard of the sport or never given it a chance. Now are going to watch it because it's on and it's every 4 years, man. There's a reason it's every 4 years. It's the most iconic trophy, most iconic tournament, everything. So it's going to really help. I think there's a lot of growth left. How much growth? I don't know, but there definitely is growth for the soccer card hobby still to the World Cup.
Yeah, and I think so part of that is kind of like trying to think here. Part of that is probably like I said, the whole people coming in right every 4 years. That's a big factor. But at the same time, I think there's people that just they have FOMO too as well. They've missed out on some of this stuff and now they're
Yeah.
trying to catch up. You know what I mean? So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, like I said last year, I wish I had $100,000. I'd be buying Messi's and Ronaldo's all day. Rookie mega cracks, whatever, second year stuff, first year World Cups. I would have been buying that stuff all day. I don't have. I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't have $100,000, but
yeah, me neither. Me
you
neither.
know
I
what I
also would have bought
mean.
it to that stuff. Yeah. Because I said
So
it too
that's
last year.
kind of a FOMO on
That's
my end because I wish I had that money, but now I don't.
Yeah, I said the same thing. With that stuff has got to go up. You know what I mean? Eventually. All
You're
right,
talking
man. I
about.
appreciate what's.
I've said like you're talking about the two best players ever in soccer history. Ronaldo coming when I talk about Ronaldo and Messi, right?
Yeah,
And
possibly. Yeah.
right now, to me, they're the two best players. Now, I'm a Ronaldo fan over Messi, but everyone has their choices. But it's like kind of seeing what Michael Jordan did back in the 90s for us. We watched 90s basketball. I used to watch 90s basketball growing
Oh
up,
yeah.
and Jordan was it. Jordan was it. No one was better than Michael Jordan, even though I was a Petrovic fan, but no one was better than Michael Jordan, and kind of the same thing with Messi and Ronaldo. Like, no one's better than them right now. No one's even coming close to them. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
I
maybe
agree.
Holland. There's the Holland and Mbappe debate. Don't get me wrong. When it comes to goals, especially for Holland, that guy can score goals left, right, and center. But as of right now, these two goats have to be similar price wise to like a Jordan rookie or to a Tom Brady rookies. They have to be close because they're goats of our sport. Like the
Yep.
price, but also, this is going back. I don't know how many years ago. There was because soccer was still growing, and it's still growing to this day. That there was more. There was a stat saying that there was more Ken Griffey cards, not rookie cards, but Ken Griffey cards graded than soccer cards graded as a whole, which
Oh
is an
yeah, of course.
insane because it's still a growing sport. It's still young for cards. Didn't start till the 90s when it came to cards. 94 Upper Deck World Cup. We all remember that set. And it was always stickers. So, but now it's coming to the card world, from 2000 and up, it's been, growing. Now it comes down to licensing, right? Licensing is a big deal when it comes to Tops and Panini right now. Like, that's what's I feel is affecting every market out there for basketball right now with the whole conversion switching over from Panini to Tops. There's going to be that 1 to 2 year. It's going to be like, ugh, I don't know. You know what I mean? Because Portugal, correct me if I'm wrong, Portugal is not licensed by Tops, are they?
Panini.
Panini. Same with Croatia.
Panini
So,
stickers, right? But even, I mean,
yeah,
if you listen to my podcast yesterday, I had Canal Cromos. He's a Portuguese guy over, and he's got like 40,000 YouTube subscribers. And he was
okay.
telling me that he's talked to Panini before. He's got a good relationship with them, that they need to make a card set for the Portuguese league. And
Yeah,
that,
that'll be
because they
cool.
haven't done one in a while. They
Yeah.
used to do one with the Ronaldo rookie in it, but they haven't done one in a long time.
They don't make the Mega Crackdish anymore?
No.
I
Nope.
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like it's sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's like when
Do
they
they
want
make
to.
anything? They make stickers though, I think, right?
They make stickers, yeah, stickers. So like
Yeah.
when you look at the stickers, a lot of people in Portugal, the sticker culture is still very vibrant and very part of what they do. You know what I mean?
I think Europe as a whole is like that.
Yeah, they are. I think until distribution gets figured out, we won't see that kind of change. So, all right, man. I appreciate you coming on. I gotta hop off. I got a
Okay.
hard stop now.
Yeah.
But man, I could talk to you forever. But we'll have you back on too. Maybe after your
Yeah.
show, we'll have you back on and talk more. And
Yeah,
hopefully,
man.
I
That'd
see
be
you
cool.
next week. Hopefully, I see you
Yeah.
next week. Remember, November 8th, Kings Court, Mississauga, the Northern Card Soccer Expo, Croatian Footy Collector. Thank you again for joining, man. We'll see you
Yeah. From
soon.
6 to 11, guys. Hope to see you guys there, Northern Soccer. Thanks for having me on, Paulo. And we'll catch up for sure, man.
See you later, my friend.
Peace.